Hi and welcome to Investing 4.0 Visionary Investing in Future Trends. As you probably noticed, I had to take a longer break due to personal reasons, but now I am back for more. Today we'll take a look at a stock that not a lot of people are aware of yet. I've been watching it for quite some time already and realized that I see more and more NIO scooters in my neighborhood, which is a good sign. So I guess that Peter Lynch would be proud of me. Observing your environment and checking out if you can invest into it is a really cool strategy. As you see in the thumbnail and the title, the company is called NIO with an U and not an O. Interestingly though, they operate in the same field as NIO, which is electromobility. But the two companies are not connected. NIO, or NIU as it should be called, which means cattle or cow in Chinese, stock has been performing really well and has surged about 400% during the last year only, so it is definitely worth taking a deeper look at it. Before we begin, a warm welcome to all new viewers. Investing 4.0 stands for non-hyped and high-quality content to make you a more rational and well-informed investor. So feel free to join my team by subscribing to my channel. Of course, this is no investing advice, so please make your own research and only invest money if you feel comfortable with it. But now, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, as always, we will take a look at the history, the business model, and the financial side of the business. So let's start with a quick overview. NIU is a Chinese company producing electric scooters, and the real deal, not the ones that you know from Lime, Bird, and Tier, and the ones that you can see in the bigger cities, but the real ones that go actually faster. NIO was founded in September 2014 and has been continuously growing by extending their product range and improving their technology specifically for their batteries. Here are some of the most important historic dates of this still kind of new company that indicate the rate of growth of their portfolio pretty good. As mentioned, they were founded in 2014, and in 2015, so just about half a year later after they were founded, they launched their first series of scooters, the NQi series. Then in April 2016, they launched the second series, the MQi electric scooter, which raised over $13 million in 15 days. Then in August 2016, they began sales in Europe. In April 2017, the launch of the UQi series scooter began. Then in December 2017, NIO reached a milestone of 300,000 electric scooters sold. We are already in 2018, in summertime now, and in June they released the NQi GT and the MQi Plus with the product launch at the NIO Urban Mobility Summit at the Louvre Museum in Paris, France, so quite a popular spot. Later in 2018, they launched the UQi-M series, and then finally in 2018, in October, they were listed on the Nasdaq. Now in summer 2019, they launched the UQi Plus and the UQi-S. Then in November 2019, they launched the NQi GTS, the MQi GT, the UQi GT in Milan, Italy. So they really like the fancy designer spots to launch their products, which I think is a pretty cool decision. Then in January last year, so in January 2020, they launched the RQi, the TQi at the CES in Las Vegas in the United States. So just by looking at the history, and I mentioned probably all of their models by now, it's pretty obvious that they're expanding their product portfolio, which is now consisting of various scooter models and e-bikes. And basically they are 7 years old and they have that many, like 7 different types of scooters out there. Now, after really briefly understanding what the company does, producing electrical scooters, let's take a closer look at the business model and some of the functionalities of the scooters as well. As we saw in the history, NIO is committed to continuously provide global customers more convenient and more environmentally friendly smart urban mobility vehicles to redefine urban mobility. NIO is a global brand in urban mobility that embraces technology, style, and freedom. And just by looking at the product launches, we can see that they're really shooting for style here. NIO currently designs and manufactures and sells high performance and smart electric scooters with a streamlined product portfolio consisting of 7 series, as I mentioned, 1 series per year, so to say, with multiple models and specifications for end consumers such as NIO power accessories. The MQI model and the UQI model are the urban mobility products that have won all 7 major international design awards in the past 20 years, including the Red Dot and the IF in Germany, the IDEA in the United States, and the G-Mark in Japan. As the world's leading lithium-powered electric two-wheeler company, NIO created a new market category for smart electric two-wheeler vehicles. They developed a 4th-generation NIO energy lithium battery technology that has a longer-lasting battery life, longer range, and more lightweight that is safer and more powerful. So they're really shooting for technology. By the way, they also use Bosch engines, like German-quality high engines for their scooters, which allows them to offer in a more premium price segment. So far, they maintained a fast pace of growth and have sold an accumulation of over 1 million smart electric scooters and bikes worldwide. NIO has expanded into 46 countries with retail stores across cities in Asia, Europe, and Latin America, and is continuing to expand support for sharing businesses globally with 20 sharing operators in 13 countries providing software as a service solutions for electric two-wheelers. The different series of production address the needs of different segments of modern urban residents and resolve the demand of different scenarios of urban travel while being united through a common design language that emphasizes style, freedom, and technology. Now, NIO has adopted an omni-channel retail model integrating the offline and online channels to sell its products and provide services. Thus, the business model of NIO is quite easy to understand. They produce electric scooters with exchangeable batteries, which is quite interesting, so you could kind of call them the NIO with an O of the scooter business. As they have a bunch of different products, let's get a quick overview before we focus on the numbers and the financial side here. So NIO mainly has 3 different series: the NQI series, the MQI series, and the UQI series. I'm going to put up a table here that shows how fast they go, how long the range is, so you can compare the different models. And by the way, they always have like the GT versions, which are more powerful, and so on. Just by looking at the numbers, it shows that the NQI series is built for performance or speed and range. They created a scooter that lets you ride faster and further in your city. The MQI series sells at a little higher price point and has a cleaner, even more minimalistic design and a longer range. The UQI series has a bike-like design and has a lower range therefore. As far as I can see, the MQI and the UQI series allow you to transport an additional person. The NQI seems to be a single scooter, like just for one person. The price range of the product is between $2,000 and $4,000, and it's going to be interesting when we look at the numbers in a minute. Depending on the model and the range, they vary in price as mentioned, and you can also buy additional batteries as the scooters allow for battery swapping as already mentioned. Now, NIO also offers a ride-sharing service with the platforms Indigo, Movo or Movo, Scooty, and Go Urban, so you might even see them around in bigger cities or even in your cities. They mainly sell their products via dedicated stores, but especially in China, they also sell them via JD.com, Tmall.com, and their own website. So I think utilizing JD.com and Tmall.com is a very smart decision for China. Of course, the main market also is China, which makes a lot of sense right now. Even when I spent my year in China, which is quite some time ago right by now, the electric scooters were everywhere, and I lovingly called them the silent death, as they were passing you like at quick speeds without any safety distance and super silent. So it was always dangerous crossing streets and not paying attention to those electric scooters. What I like about NIO is that they are expanding globally as well, and as mentioned, they are in 46 countries at this time, so that's good for the business model. Now, here a quick summary about what I like. What I like is that they use high-quality Bosch engines, modern battery swapping technology, and that they focus on urbanization, where you basically have less space for cars, and focus on environmentally friendly mobility. The design, obviously, well, it's pretty minimalistic here, and it hits a trend. I think minimalistic design is always appreciated. But locally here in Germany, what I see is that a lot of classic designs like the old Italian Vespa are also pretty popular. So I guess it always depends on which style you like better and if you decide for a NIO scooter or other brands. Now let's take a look at the financials, and I'm actually going to move to my computer real quick. All right, let's take a look at the key financials of NIO. Let's take a look at the 5-year chart here. We see that it was trading for about like $7 to $8, $9 US, then 10 in early 2020. And the company really had its rise after that. So starting in April, rising from $8.50 to now about $37 US with a pike of almost $50 US here. We see that they have a market cap of $2.83 billion US, which is quite a bit, and a PE ratio of 127. Though fast-growing companies, in my opinion, the PE ratio is always super high, and if you just take a look at the PE ratio, you should never buy those fast-growing companies as the PE ratio is super, super high, but that is because we expect high growth. So now let's take a deeper look at NIO, and we're going to take a look at the numbers, the key financial numbers provided by NIO itself with an Excel sheet here. And I'm specifically comparing the year 2020 and 2019. So 2020 is green and 2019 is blue here. So we see that they could increase their retail network here from about 1,000 to 1,600 in China. Internationally though, and you see that I marked it red, yes, it's an increase, but to be honest, 29 to 36 is not as impressive as I would have expected. I would like to see more aggressive push for the international markets here. So as mentioned, in total, they entered 8 new countries here, so 46 countries in total now. Overall, the sales volumes went up. Here we see a year-over-year increase of 45%, which is kind of good. But what I would like to see more is the overseas here, the overseas sector, with only a year-over-year return increase or sales volume increase of a little bit more than 2%. So China still growing, but I like to see more international growth here. Taking a look at the revenue here, obviously if the sales goes up or the sales volume goes up, revenue increases as well, but the total year revenue increase is only about 18, not even 18% year over year. And for a company that is in its growth phase still, I'd like to see more aggressive growth as well. Now, part of it is because of the sales from the e-scooters here. We see the average sales price here is about 3,500 and it used to be 4,200. Well, they launched a cheaper one. So the overall, like the e-bike version, the overall average price is dropping a little bit, but down 16% here for the scooters, other business 27. And in total, that is more than 17.6% cheaper average pricing. That obviously is reflected then when we take a look at the revenue, obviously. So the revenue by geography here is interesting as well. And as I mentioned here, I'd like to see more growth from the international markets. Last year, we saw 82% increase. The year before, that's 2018 here, there was 280% increase, and this year, last year, 2020, it was only 7.1. That's why I marked it. It's still a plus, but compared to the previous year, 7.1 is really just a fraction of it. Same with the overall year-over-year revenue increase, 82% 2018, 24, 22. We see a declining trend here, and that's not what I like to see. Now, the cost went up slightly, but what I like to see, which is a good thing, is that the costs per e-scooter went down by 17%. So costs up overall, but cost per e-scooter sold are down a little bit. So that's a good trend. The gross margin here was 22.9%, quite an okay deal, I'd say. Now, for the operating expenses, obviously all of them went up. I'm not going to focus too much on the single points here, but the total, and that is a total increase of 16.8%. We always see increases here. They have marketing and other expenses when they're entering new markets, and it's good. So they want to expand. Obviously, this makes a lot of sense here. Now, the operating expenses also increased, and same, obviously, 15.2% up. Now, something that I think is okay to observe is that in 2018 and 17 here, we saw negative profits, so they lost money. In 2018, they gained 9.2%, not 2.9, 9.2%, and now we are at almost 7%. It's okay at this stage to make some money, but they should probably aggressively invest a little bit more. As we see, again, I'm not too happy with the international rollout here and the international growth of the sales. Now, as you know, I always take a look at the DCF model here, and this time I decided to choose two that I'm pretty familiar with, Finbox.com and also Alpha Spreadsheet. And Finbox here says that they are currently undervalued and that the fair value would be $45, so which is about a bit more than 20% upside. Taking a look at Alpha Spreadsheet, however, they only see a 3.88% upside from the DCF model. I also calculated a DCF model, and I see an upside of maximum 5% in a realistic scenario. Obviously, a little bit more. I think it was 17% in an optimistic scenario, but I always like to stick to the realistic one. So this is how the market sees NIO here, just 2 pages looking at it. Obviously, it always depends on your assumptions. And I shared under my Xiaomi video, I shared the DCF model, so feel free to download that. And you can always plug in other companies, other data from other companies, and do your own estimates and see how you price the company. All right, I think it's time to sum everything up and make a decision. As we could see from the DCF model, both websites see some upside for NIO between 4 and 20%. In my own DCF model, though, I calculated an upside of about 5% in a realistic scenario. I always want to choose the realistic one. I mean, the ones that are looking really, really good are, of course, really, really good. So the realistic one, 5%, is interesting, which is definitely lower than I would expect or that I would want at this moment. However, other investors like Cathie Woods from ARK Invest is big on NIO and actually bought more shares in April, now owning almost 2 million shares. However, though, I have to stick with my own analysis and my gut feel in the end. And just FYI, Cathie Woods is also not owning at this moment any shares from NIO with an O, which in my opinion is a big miss, and the numbers show that it was a big miss in the past. So from her side, I'm not 100% sure if she is the right person to trust when it comes to Chinese tech companies and e-mobility in general. Okay, that was it with the quick analysis of NIO. It was definitely worth taking a close look, and I'll keep them definitely on my radar. The new numbers for Q1 in 2021 will actually be released this month in May, on May 17th. And depending on the outcome, the stock might see quite a good jump. However, since I'm not a speculator but a long-term investor, I would love to see more international growth and investment in this competitive market and a more unique selling point for their products. And in the end, scooters are, say, comparatively easy to produce, and the battery swapping technology here also is pretty common among those electric scooters. And I wouldn't just rely on the cool design. My final question to you is, what is your opinion on NIO, the little brother of NIO? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. But that's it from my side for now. See you next time.